You sure you're not some escaped actor from a low-budget soap opera? I asked, half laughing, half terrified. He just smiled, eyes shining like he remembered something I didn't. Maybe I am. But I do know this every night. I Want to Be Yours started 2 weeks ago. Rain was slamming the sidewalks like it had a vendetta against the city, and I was late, drenched, and hangry. I'd just gotten off a brutal double shift at the hospital and was about to speedwalk past the alley next to the 3rd Avenue deli when I saw him crumpled, shirtless, bruised, and looking like he'd crawled out of someone's worst day. He wasn't shivering. He was too far gone for that. I'm not usually impulsive. I'm the guy who reads Yelp reviews before buying toothpaste. But there was something about his face, soft, wounded, confused, and the way he whispered, "Help me," that made me turn back. I took him home. He didn't remember who he was. No name, no ID, just hospital bandages and a broken voice. He kept touching the objects in my apartment like they were relics of another life. He flinched at loud noises, smiled at the smell of pancakes, and cried during dog commercials. I called him Jay. He looked like a Jay, messy dark hair, high cheekbones, and an undercurrent of chaos in his silence. The ER said he'd likely suffered a concussion and trauma-induced amnesia. They wanted to keep him for observation. He begged me not to leave him, so I didn't. But what I didn't expect, not in a million years, was what he'd start doing every night. At exactly 1:03 a.m., like clockwork, he'd knock on my bedroom door 3 times. I thought it was for water or nightmares. But no. He'd step in, look me dead in the eyes and ask, "Can I be your husband tonight?" Not in a joking way. Not in a desperate way either. It was like he meant it. Like some part of his soul remembered being mine. His voice trembled, but his hands didn't. The first night, I stared, stunned, and told him to go back to bed. The second night, I thought it was a joke. The third, I asked, "Why do you keep saying that?" And he said something I will never forget. "Because when I look at you, I feel safe. And because every night, I dream about you saying yes." I didn't say yes, but I didn't push him away either. I let him stay. I made sure he ate, showered, rested. I let him decorate the fridge with his awful stick figure drawings and helped him heal. I told myself this was about kindness, about being human. Not about how my heart would thud when he'd sing softly while doing dishes, or how his laugh made everything I hated about New York blur away. One night, he fell asleep on the couch with his head on my lap. My hand brushed through his hair on instinct. He murmured, "You used to do that when we were married." And just like that, something inside me cracked. I hated how much I wanted that to be true. Then came the night everything burned. I came home late. Jay wasn't in the apartment. The window was cracked open. My stomach dropped. There were blood streaks on the kitchen floor. I nearly screamed. I called the police, the hospital. I checked shelters, back alleys, the subway. Nothing. I didn't sleep. 2 days passed. The silence in the apartment was unbearable. His hoodie still hung on the chair. His sketches still clung to the fridge. On the 3rd day, I found him. He was curled up behind the church near 7th and King, bruised, bleeding, and colder than I'd ever seen him. When I knelt beside him, he looked up, barely conscious, and whispered, "Please don't make me go. I'll be your husband forever. Just don't leave me again." Carried him home. I didn't ask questions that night. I just held him. He healed slower this time. The bruises were deeper. But the worst damage wasn't physical. He stopped smiling. He stopped asking to be my husband. I missed it. God, I missed it. Until one night I broke. I opened his door at 1:03 a.m. He was awake, sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at the floor. I said, "Jay, would you still want to be my husband?" He looked up like I'd handed him the sun. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just nodded. And then he kissed me. It wasn't a kiss that asked for anything. It was a kiss that remembered everything. We didn't become lovers overnight. That would be too easy, too neat for what we were. There was still the matter of his past, his memories, his identity, the world outside the 4 walls of my apartment. But we started living as if. He brushed his teeth next to me. He stole bites from my plate. He told me I hummed when I read, and I told him he talked in his sleep. We went on walks. We danced badly in the kitchen. He laughed more. And some nights, he'd still ask softly, with hope in his eyes, "Still my husband?" I'd nod every time. Then, one Thursday morning, it all came crashing back. I found him on the bathroom floor. His hands were shaking, and his eyes were wide with panic. "I remember," he whispered. "My name's Elijah. I had a fiancé. I ran away the day before our wedding." The air vanished from the room. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I wanted to know. He cried, long and broken, on the bathroom tiles. I held him until his breathing slowed. He looked at me, devastated. "Does this mean I can't be your husband anymore?" I smiled through tears. "That's not how it works." Elijah met with his past. He went back to his old life, to close doors that had been left swinging open in the wind. He spoke to the man he left behind, to his family, to his pain. He came home 3 weeks later. I was on the couch, holding a mug I hadn't sipped from in 20 minutes. He stood at the door, nervous, hopeful, carrying nothing but a backpack and a single daisy. "I told them I was in love with someone new," he said. "You sure?" I asked, heart in my throat. "I remember everything now," he said, stepping closer. "And you know what the best part is?" "What?" "The part that never changed before or after I forgo, 'tis that every night, in my heart, I always wanted to be your husband. So now, every night at 1:03 a.m., without fail, he knocks on my bedroom door. And every night, I open it with a smile. And I say, 'You already are.'" Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.